What's up guys, Pop101 here. Today we're going to be going over Blade and Sorcery's most overpowered U11 mods. So let's get started. Now first up we have Mystic Hands made by Linica. Now this is probably the most overpowered spell, if not the most overpowered mod in the entire game. I mean, we have these finger tracking hands that do whatever we wish. Like for example, I don't know, using them as brass knuckles to completely pulverize enemies. We can pick up, we should be able to, we can pick up enemies with the hands, slam them down. Not only can we pick them up, but we can also throw them as far as we possibly want. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And if we hold the grip then trigger, we actually can make a fist, which, if we hit the ground, it does a little bit of explosion knockback to anyone in the vicinity, which I think is a very, very cool feature of this. And of course, we can do the so simple, just completely punch enemies and knock them away. Because who doesn't like that? And just give them an old uppercut right out of the arena. Now this mod is fantastic and it works without any issue. One of the other cool features is the fact that you can grab part of the arena, or I guess the environment, and move yourself. Using it to move yourself, you can, I don't know, grab enemies. You can, if we make a fist, slam down on the ground and just knock people back. It's super cool. And I think you can also grab an enemy with two hands at once, although I'm not entirely sure. Yep, looks like you can. I hope this, I think it does. I think it gives us a bit of extra knockback too when we're doing the ground explosion. Well, he just vanished into thin air. But regardless, this is one of my personal favorite mods, and it's really just a ton of fun because of how incredibly overpowered it is. Nobody stands a chance at all. Now the second mod on this list are the Thunder Fury swords. Now not only do these look beautiful, but they are probably the most insanely overpowered weapon I have ever used in any VR game, especially Blade Sorcery. So for example, yes, you can hit enemies, you can slash them, you can also electrocute them, which is super cool because this was completely coded from scratch and is just awesome. And it also does some cool details when it hits them as well. Not only can you electrify them, but you can also shoot the lightning Kamehameha directly out of them. Now, this, in my opinion, is what makes it the most overpowered weapon I have ever seen in a game. Because no enemy can come even close without us absolutely annihilating everybody. Just look at this. This is absolutely fantastic. So insanely overpowered, but it's also so much fun at the exact same time. One of the other cool features is not only can you electrify them by hitting them and shoot the lightning Kamehameha beam out of them, but you can also use the lightning imbue to completely rip them to shreds. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but this mod is insanely overpowered, and it's so much fun to use. One of the other cool things that we might be able to do is if we, let's see, we can use the lightning Kamehameha and the lightning imbue at the same time. Yeah, it looks like we can. So essentially no enemy can get even close to us. But you know what? I don't really have an issue with it because it's just fantastic. I wonder if we can put up like a wall of lightning. Come on, try to get her. Try to get me. Try to get me. And then he falls apart. That's awesome. Man, I really love this. This is such a cool mod. So, thank you very much for this. This next mod is one that you guys have seen for a while. It is the Iceman made by Davey. Basically, we can shoot out icicles at enemies and merge with all the pre-existing spells. It is definitely something that's very unique. And also, for every kill you get points that you can use to unlock these certain abilities, like aiming better, grabbable icicles, and domes, etc. There's so many different abilities. But the main one is using the icicle and You can shoot it directly at an enemy. As long as it touches them, they freeze. Except, I'm pretty sure in this person's case, she's dead. Because that went through her head. Or, I guess maybe not. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. There we go. That went through her head. I think she's gone. One of the other cool features is you can imbue weapons with ice, and if you hit them, the enemy slows down, and I'm pretty sure it's customizable. You can choose how slow they actually get. But it is a very cool feature of this that I definitely always use myself, because, I mean, it's just a lot of fun using slow motion like that. Now, some of the other cool features are, if we use it in both hands and merge it, all we need to do is separate our hands, and we shoot the icicles in every single direction. Now, I know it missed her, so why don't we try it again? But it is still... Maybe I just suck at aiming. Excuse me. Thank you. One more time. Let's see if we can get this guy. Super close. And one more. One more. And one more. We can do it. Come on. Come on. We can do it. It's hitting him. That one looked like it went through. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of a bug with it with U11. That's understandable. U11 mods aren't completely perfect yet, but that's fine. Okay, so now we have ice. If we combine it with fire, we should be able to make our very own Kamehameha. How incredible is that? Now, yes, it is a tad bigger than the Kamehameha that I made, but it is still fantastic. Now, one of the other cool features is if we merge it with something like lightning, we can actually shoot out these lightning frozen particles. I think they're lightning shurikens, which do a lot of damage. They can electrocute the enemy, and honestly, they just look pretty great. Like, if we take a look at them, so if we shoot some right on top of this guy, you'll be able to see what they look like. And they're very cool. Now, I know we can't grab them, but still at the same time, they look pretty fantastic, right? And that is the ice spell for you. Now, this mod is a brand new favorite of mine, and a very, very recent mod based on Homelander. We have Heat Vision, or the Laser Eyes mod made by Ghetto, which essentially lets you just completely dismember enemies like there's no tomorrow. You do damage, and you can just absolutely obliterate everybody. Now, I think this is bugging out just a little bit. Maybe it's because of my other mods. But you can do a ton of damage, slash them off, and it's just a really overpowered mod, but that's super cool at the exact same time. Now also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm able to slash enemies in half. I definitely recommend checking out some of Genix's mods that actually let you do that. I have a link below to it in the description. But yeah, that is the Laser Eyes. For our fifth mod, we have one that I made myself, the Darksaber, which was a ton of fun to make. Not only the coding, which I did receive some help with, but everything else related to it. Because, I mean, you can absolutely demolish any enemy that comes at you. There's beautiful decals when you hit them. There's obviously the lightsaber slashing sounds. And it's just extremely overpowered and a ton of fun to use. Looks like she wasn't going to need those arms anyways. Yeah. I may have gone a little bit overboard with making dismemberment super easy with the Darksaber, but then again, what mod of mine would it be if it wasn't extremely overpowered, right? So, and there we go, the Darksaber. Now, this mod made by Lil Husky has a special place in my heart because it is also insanely overpowered and lets you do a lot of cool things. We have the Time Stop mod, which, well, lets you stop time. So, you froze, you froze, you froze, you froze, you froze. Oh, looks like she was about to hit me. Well, I guess she didn't need her head anyways. Now, the time stop does exactly what you think, and it lets you stop time. You can also dismember, attack enemies in it. You have complete mobility, and it works absolutely perfectly. As you can tell by this guy trying to hit me, and him not being able to because we are so awesome. Try again. Yeah, I'll go easy on you. She froze, he's staying back there, and you know, while they're frozen, we can do something like, that, we can do that. And maybe just a little bit of wah. And if we start it again. Now, I want you guys to notice something. You notice how that guy flew way back. Well, that's because something unique about this that Husky added was the ability to track the velocity of it. So let's say we have this lady right here, and she's getting on our nerves. We've hit her enough times. We start it, now she goes flying back. And of course, if you use an overpowered weapon mod, or you use something like, I don't know, let me just borrow this real quick. Thank you. No, I don't want your money. And we do something like... And zoom. Oh, right into him. That's awesome. But yeah, that is the time stop mod that is insanely overpowered and just a ton of fun to use. And Husky did a fantastic job on it. Next up, we have the beautiful Yamato made by Genix, which lets you do a lot of cool anime abilities like this. Now, all you have to do is unsheath it and sheath it to absolutely just tear every enemy to shreds. Not only can you do that, but there's also a couple other abilities, like when you're grabbing it, pull the trigger, and you can actually shoot out these projectiles, which, when hitting an enemy, just nails them real quick, but definitely knocks them down. Aside from that, if we summon an enemy, like that guy right there, we use only the Yamato and we pull the trigger while slashing. We summon this beam that has some unique abilities to dismember the enemy instantaneously. Just like that. So why don't we try this in battle? Now just keep in mind, guys, this is probably the second most powerful weapon in Blade Sorcery history. Oh man, this is so much fun to use. Just to ignore the little glitches here and there, but let's try this. It's so overpowered, but it's so cool. And this weapon looks fantastic too. It's one of the other things I want to mention. Because you can also just fight the enemy with the Yamato normally, because who doesn't love a... Oh man, who doesn't love an extremely sharp katana? Wow. That was one slash. He lost an arm, a hand. See if we can get a head. And I think we got our head. Now that was a really weird death animation. I'm sure there's some kind of bug going on here. But at the same time, I don't really care because this is so much fun. And that is the Yamato. Now for those of you that love Naruto, we have a couple for you. First off, I'm going to be showing you the extremely overpowered abilities that I gave the Rinnegan, which you can pull the trigger and actually shoot out chakra rods just like Jigen at any enemy. And of course, there is no limit. You can spawn as many as you possibly want, even to that stretchy woman and this stretchy guy right here. You pull the trigger and then the grip, we get a long chakra rod that Jigen is also known for, which does a ton of knockback and just absolutely murders all of your enemies. Because who doesn't like that? And of course, we love the famous Rinnegan headshots. Now, if you grab an enemy, you pull the trigger, you guys heard the Rene rebirth noise. Now, your previously dead enemy has now come back to life as an ally, and he'll pick up a weapon eventually and actually fight the enemies. And let's say enemies are ganging up on you. What do? Well, if you merge the Renegon together, you pull apart, we have the almighty push with the proper audios included in it. And if, you're not really feel like an almighty push, we can use the universal pull, which does the same exact thing, except pulls all of your enemies right towards you, and is a ton of fun to use. But let's say you're fighting an enemy and you really don't want to kill them. If you imbue the weapon with the Renegon, all you need to do is hit the enemy, the eyes go black, and they become an ally and actually fight with you. Now, I'm pretty sure this lady is bugged out one way or another, but they become your ally and they fight with you. So let's see if we can hit this guy, and his eyes go black. His eyes go black, and now he's fighting with his former allies. One of the other brand new abilities of the Renegon is if you look at an enemy while holding the weapon, you pull the trigger in the spellbind, you actually swap places with the enemy. Now, it's extremely overpowered, but it's an ability that we all know Sasuke uses, and we just had to include it. Like I said, we have the Renegon that's just extremely overpowered, but it's also so much fun to use, because there's so many different ways you can use it, and that's the Renegon. Coming in second to last, this wouldn't be a Blade and Sorcery video if we did not include lightsabers. Now, this is currently Obi-Wan's, and it is part of the Saber mod, not the Outer Rim. But there's a couple lightsaber mods that are fantastic to use, like Saber mod, the Outer Rim, and of course mine. But they're all basically the same. I mean, use the lightsabers, you cut the limbs off, no enemy stands a chance. They're all so much fun to use, they're so simple, and the fact that you can absolutely demolish any enemy with ease, I don't know, there's just something so nice about it. It's also cool that you can cut enemies in half using one of Genix's mods, which makes it just a little bit more realistic when you're fighting in a lightsaber combat. Because, I mean, who doesn't love to dismember enemies right from the hip? It's like we're pulling a Darth Maul, so let's do it again one more time. Come on, we can do it for the camera. And there we go. It's extremely overpowered, all of the lightsabers are, but we just love the lightsabers. That's what the Blade and Sorcery community does. It's one thing that we know is true. If there's no current Blade and Sorcery lightsaber, some are coming soon. And last but not least, I'm going to be borrowing Talion's NPC spawner for this. We're going to be using a ton of NPCs to be doing some extreme damage. Now, this is probably one of my new favorite mods because, well, I have made it. We have the Rasen Shuriken. Now, it's not new, but it is something that I updated to give it a little bit more kick than normal. This. Yes, I destroyed my frame rate. I nearly broke my computer trying to record this for you. But we have NPCs and limbs flying all over the place. That's right. The Rasen Shuriken now allows you to have... There's a head rolling. The Rasen Shuriken now allows you to not only hit enemies and knock them back. Let's try that again. The Rasen Shuriken not only allows you to hit enemies and knock them back, but there is also an optional dismemberment, which, if I show you on this one guy right here, can absolutely tear the enemy to shreds instantly, which the Rasen Shuriken is known to do. Alright, well I think that's it for this video, guys. So if you like my top 10 list, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you have other mod options that you'd like to suggest, drop them in the comments below. But that's it, so thanks for watching.